In the beginning, the joke wasn't a joke. It was simply a little story. One day the teller called the story to her and said, "Little story, you're big enough now. It's time for you to go out into the world and search for your ending." So the little story set off. It hadn't gone far when it came across an ending that had been abandoned by the side of the road and left to rust. The little story polished it up and found it was a beautiful classic. And they all lived happily ever after. It quickly tried it on, but unfortunately it didn't quite fit. And so the little story traveled on until it reached a town where it sold the ending to a business for 6 gold pieces. The business hired out endings for a fee of 1 gold coin. So the little story handed back a gold coin and made its selection. And good heavens, it was an exciting ending. Shootouts and chases and shouting and... The little story took off the ending, had a little lie down, and then returned to it. No, that one wasn't quite right either. The little story traveled on to the next town, where there was a little shop which sold second-hand endings for 2 gold coins. So the little story handed over its coins and made a selection. Once out of the shop, though, it began to wonder if it had made the right choice. It was such a sad ending. Exquisite workmanship, but... The little story sighed and left the ending by the side of the road, in the hope that the right story would come along for it. And so, the little story traveled on to a 3rd town. In this town lived a writer who put together brand new endings for 3 gold coins. The little story excitedly handed over the last of its gold, and the writer went to work. Oh, the result was glorious. The little story slipped on the ending and admired herself, and tried to ignore the little voice that said this ending, lovely though it was, didn't quite suit it. The little story set off for home. But it hadn't gone far down the road when it was surrounded by a band of editors. The chief editor sneered. "That's a nice ending." He reached forward and ripped it away. "That's mine!" yelled the little story. "Not anymore." The chief editor looked the little story up and down. "Nice opening you've got, too." The circle of editors began to close in, and the little story looked wildly about for assistance, just as it was about to give up all hope. Out of nowhere, another ending appeared. The little story stared. It was the strangest ending it had seen so far. It seemed to have a life of its own. The chief editor frowned at it. "Who are you?" The ending smiled and turned to address the little story. "I am your own true ending, waiting until the right moment to reveal myself." It shrugged. "Timing is everything. My name is Punchline." The little story nearly collapsed with relief. "You can punch all these ruffians for me?" Punchline tutted. "I don't deal in violence. I use gymnastics." And it performed an unexpected twist. There was a pause, and then the chief editor fell about laughing. "That's brilliant!" He pointed at the little story. "You think it's saying one thing, but then it's recontextualized." "Hilarious!" called another editor, and she and all the other editors joined in with the laughter. By the time they had pulled themselves together, the story and its ending were far away. Now that the story was a little story no more, it was allowed to choose a name for itself. And so it became Joke. Joke and Punchline traveled on together, and everywhere they went, they were always greeted with happy laughter. Sometimes someone would ask Joke, "How exactly did you get to be this magical thing? Just what exactly are you?" Joke would always smile bashfully and nudge Punchline forward to answer, And Punchline would always point proudly to Joke and say, "Well, it's kind of a funny story."